I have 200 hours in Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm finally at the point where I feel I can give an accurate review to every facet of the game. I fell in love with this game very quickly, and I have a strong feeling it'll be a game that I play annually, like Skyrim.
Can't reach.
You might want to move. I failed.
We'll be okay. I got launched.
I told you to move.
I succeeded. That would be okay.
I didn't. Oh my god, dude.
Oh man.
I have now played this game 2 times fully through. Once solo and once co-op, and I had an equal amount of fun on both. And I had a nearly unique experience in how things played out. This is, I think, the first time I've been playing a game and I've sincerely felt like, wow, this is what next-gen gaming feels like. Its functionality and graphical design and everything to like players' emotions and players' faces, it's second to none. For those of you who haven't got your hands on the game yet, hopefully this video helps you discern whether or not you should buy this game. But I'll tell you right now, I've had a blast and I think it would be worth it for anyone.
What's up, girl? All right.
No way. So
Shut
good.
right down.
Not now. Alright, so starting off, the character customization is very detailed and fun. It allows you to go in so many directions using the races and classes from Dungeons & Dragons. And along with that, the way your character physically looks is extremely alterable and unique. And after visualizing one of my own D&D characters and playing as them, it was one of the coolest experiences for me. I felt extremely attached to my character, and for that reason, and just like D&D, I feel the game gives the player proper choice to go any direction with your character. Do you want to be a noble and just paladin of righteousness? Or do you want to be a complete piece of shit and just rip people apart? Or do you want to be somewhere in the middle? I believe the game gives you the choice to do all of those things. The game allows you to be who you want to be, and that's an incredible achievement in itself. But I always feel like there's 4 or 5 options to go at each dialogue encounter, which is honestly incredible. On my first go around, I was more of like a noble and just character with solid morals. And on my second go around, I played as a half-orc barbarian, and I kind of just did whatever the hell I wanted. If someone was mean to me off the bat, chances are they're no longer breathing. So I had a blast on the second time around as well. But the thing that always amazed me time and time again is it felt like I always had a say in the matter. And I've never really felt like that in a game before, where you have a bunch of dialogue options, but does it really affect how things play out? Well, in this game, it does. It really does. Though the story is pretty much the same, but the things along the way were completely different the second time I played it. Who you choose to have in your party and the decisions you make have a real impact on the story, and that's the real magic of the game. I would estimate that there was about 20 hours of completely new content on my second go around that I had not experienced or missed on my first playthrough. And for that reason, this game is ample with replayability. And the game is also filled with likable companions and equally good backstories that develop over the course of the game that makes you really feel for the people in your party. In a game where you can make your own custom character, I feel like a lot of games, they're like, oh, you can make your custom character, but the only real difference between custom characters are how they look, and the story is identical. Where in this game, I really felt the consequences of my actions, and I love that. I myself have not played a ton of turn-based combat games aside from growing up playing Wizard 101. So I was a little skeptical of how the combat was going to be, but as I poured hours into the game, the more familiar I became and the more fun I was able to have. If you're new to D&D or turn-based games, the combat may seem kind of overwhelming at first, but the UI does a great job in dividing things up so you know you have your movement, action, and bonus action on every single turn. And once you get the hang of it, it becomes snappy and satisfying. I've played as a sorcerer and a barbarian, as well as the other companions that you get to control, and both spellcasting and chopping people up is extremely fun and addicting. Good lord. Holy shit. They just bring death. And mixing and matching different party members to see what synergizes best was another level of fun as well. If you're familiar with D&D combat, this will be a quick adaptation as it's nearly identical. And even my roommate, who was inexperienced in both, but after playing through Baldur's Gate 3 has a great grasp on how D&D works now, and a greater knowledge of the game as well. Holy shit. And there's one thing that I really appreciate about the combat in this game, is that there are many times where it's completely avoidable, even if you're fighting a great enemy. If you play your cards right in dialogue, there's ways to get out of the fight. Oh! Yes!
No need for inspiration.
You? What do you know about Gith-Yankee child rearing? Tell me, what will you do with it if I entrust it to you?
That's fucked. Oh no. Holy shit. It makes this game feel so dynamic and realistic to the point where I am just so immersed all the time. And I know a lot of people who would overlook their charisma stat and their dialogue options, but I have found it to be very worthwhile, and that's one thing I really appreciate about this game. And that leads us right into our next topic. Throughout all 3 acts of the game, your choices amongst the NPCs along the way matter. There are several times where a rather minor NPC encounter happens and you kind of forget about it, and then you run into that same person 20 hours later, and it's really refreshing. And depending on how your first encounter with that person went, you're either about to get helped out or totally fucked over, and it makes the game have so much life breathed into it. You really feel the weight of your choices, and it locks me in to a point where I get lost in the game for hours and hours. Upon finally making it to Baldur's Gate itself, it's vastly different from the outside world. It sort of loses its linear feel and turns into this massive city where every nook and cranny is worth exploring. And it's nearly overwhelming. But my one complaint about Act 3 of the game is that there's so much that I want to do and explore, but at that point in the story, it is so intense that I feel pressured to finish the game because of the dire situation of the world that's currently in. But putting all that aside, the world of Baldur's Gate has so much life into it, and exploring it is so worthwhile. And there's times where I just simply walk around and talk to random people and just hear what they have to say, because it's always interesting to some degree and unique. During both of my playthroughs, I have explored different NPCs' backgrounds, and it literally has added hours to the story because of things that I just didn't find on the first time. On my first playthrough, I thought the warlock you encounter, Will, was pretty bland and basic and annoying, and I was like, I'm just not even going to use him, and completely ignored his quest line. And one day I came back to my camp and he was just a pile of ash on the ground. It was honestly kind of funny, but because we just didn't do his quest, the consequences of that were he just fucking dies. So I thought that was kind of funny, but also like interesting. So of course on my second playthrough I focused on his arc, and he developed into a character that I grew to love and respect. He has so many layers to him, and honestly a deep sadness throughout his arc, and things like that about Baldur's Gate kept me playing and immersed the whole way through. At a time when gaming has been so strange and sort of a drought, honestly, it was so refreshing to get my hands on Baldur's Gate and really sink my teeth into it, and I haven't felt this way about a game in many years, honestly. This is the first game in a long time that I felt that I'm on the same side as the game company, as weird as that is to say. They delivered us a finished product and kept all their promises. They said there would be no microtransactions, and there are none. The game was completely polished upon release, aside from a few bug fixes here and there. Nothing game breaking, but every update since launch has been efficient and effective. It makes me very happy to say that this game is a certified masterpiece, and I will be replaying it for years to come. I highly recommend this game to anyone who's looking to sink their teeth into a beautifully made game full of fun and memorable moments. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Life's been kind of hard lately. I've just been so busy with my last semester of school, so I haven't had much time to make videos, but I hope to have some more along the way. It's sort of a strange feeling that I'm excited to put Baldur's Gate down and move on to other things, because I have only played that game for the last 2 months, and it's been fantastic. But I'm excited to move on to some other forms of content, and it's going to be one of those games that I return every year and play it through, because it's going to be different every time, like I said earlier. So I don't want to burn myself out on it, and just kind of want to make some other things like my old videos, just some goofy clips and funny moments with my friends and I. So yeah, I think that's about it. See ya.